Hi.
Hello,
What's your name?
I'm Evan.
Baylee. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I moved out here from Florida. I live in a van.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll start there. Um, I'm on like a spiritual journey, kind of. Um, I guess been looking into like a lot of religion and stuff like that recently. Do you have like any like knowledge behind that type of stuff, or any advice around religion or
Well, I guess I'd ask, how does it feel to be, I'm guessing you're away from family now
yeah,
and you're just kind of on your own,
yeah,
living your life.
yeah.
How has that been for you, like spiritually? Like, what have you
Um,
noticed for yourself?
it's been like what I needed. Like
Mm-hmm.
I felt like whenever I was around family, like I was kind of like in this mechanical way of being. Um, like I would kind of just like maybe be what other people expected of me. But like me getting away, I could really just be free, and find myself, find what resonates with me.
Do you feel like you're still kind of lost, or do you feel like you've been able to find yourself, like in San Diego, living on your own, like
Yeah.
I'm like traveling in your van?
Yeah, I feel like I have found myself, I guess you could say. Yeah, I feel like I've grown a lot than what I used to, where I was at in the past.
How were you in the past, would you
Um,
say?
I was very selfish. I was very like money oriented and like mm, just like all about me, and like wanting to fulfill myself. And now I'm more selfless, just kind
Yeah.
of um been looking for ways to help others recently. So
Where do you think that selfishness came from?
mm, um hmm. I think it came from, like um maybe like a little bit from the culture, like kind of seeing, I would see kind of everybody else, like, oh, all these people my age have money and cars and, all these things that I desire, or all these possibilities. And then I kind of just started, creating, um,
Like a scarcity mindset, kind
yeah,
of just wanting more,
yeah, oh yeah,
or
super,
trying to prove to society, like,
oh yeah.
that I.
Yeah, it's so deep. Yeah, definitely trying to um, prove something. I feel like there was a sense of always like not being good enough, like within.
Yeah.
And so through acquiring more and building this like image of myself, building up myself, that was like my security. That was like me proving it to people that I can do it too.
Yeah, I think in society that's a big thing, is you hear like, oh, like prove them wrong.
Yeah.
But like that is for all the wrong reasons. Like you're supposed to prove to yourself, like
Yeah.
none of that matters. Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of what you're capable of. It's what you feel like you really want for yourself. Because if you're not fulfilled inside, it doesn't matter if you're fulfilling what you think other people are going to be happy with, because
Totally.
that doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah.
It's external to yourself. And
Yeah.
I think what you were hinting at was like, I think when people, they latch onto like an identity,
Yeah.
it makes them, like, instead of actually aligning with what their soul wants,
Mm.
they're trying to become something and trying to hold on to an identity to prove to other people, or like
Yeah.
for their own security, that that's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, when you let go and you just relax and you stop trying to control everything around you,
Yeah.
you're actually free to be your authentic self.
Yes. Create space.
Yeah,
Create space for like what's meant for you to come your way. That's
exactly.
kind of what I've learned.
And I feel like you went from being, in a way, just kind of into the external things and wanting
Mm.
like validation. Now it seems like you're very minimalist
Oh yeah.
because you just live in your van, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how has that been for you? Has it been like pretty freeing to
Yeah.
let go of all the like superficial
Yeah.
external things?
Yeah. I was like really into this whole superficial external, like acquiring material items and such, that was like what gave me fulfillment. So, and really as I've like moved into the van, whenever I first left Florida, I packed so much stuff into my car. Like I had so many things, and I'll just give things away now, like it doesn't mean anything to me anymore, which has definitely been a more internal shift, so
Yeah.
um
What do you think gives your life meaning now? Like, what's the most important thing to you now?
mm, helping others. Yeah. Yeah, like I have a lot of friends from back home or just people that I've met on this journey, and um like the things that I've learned and seen in myself, I can kind of I can take it to them, or if they come to me and we're talking and something comes up where I can, maybe give them a piece of advice, or like, I've realized that that's really what I live for, helping others and being a space for others, like show up however they need, and just provide a positive energy, yeah.
That's what I like to think about is like every interaction you make, like you really don't know when it's gonna be your last interaction with someone or their last interaction. Like you don't want to leave anything on a bad note ever.
Yeah.
And it's just like the way if every day at the end of your day, you're like, I'm grateful and I'm happy with how I treated myself and other people,
Mm-hmm.
you can always go to bed feeling like thankful and not living in regret, because I think the biggest regret is leaving things like unsaid or not
Totally.
feeling like you're treating people in a nice way, or you're just not at peace with yourself and the world around you.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you do find that peace,
Yeah.
you're able to actually like be present and enjoy each day and not be living in regret or living in turmoil.
Yeah.
So I think it is true when it's like the way you treat yourself and the peace you have inside, like your outer world will reflect that, you know?
Yeah. Like as within, so without, like what's inside of you is, or what's outside of you is a reflection, or you could even say a projection of like what's inside your heart and your mind, like what's going on internally.
Where do you think you're, because before you mentioned that you had felt like selfishness, where do you think your empathy developed? Like, where did it come from?
It's always been there. Like I've always been real sensitive, but I started to suppress that, like, so it was there like whenever I was younger, but then like as things happened in my life, like I felt like me being sensitive was like a problem, so like I started to like suppress it, and like it really closed me off to, it's like what created the selfishness, like closed my heart, which like,
Because you were just trying to protect yourself.
yeah, in a way, yeah. I was trying to, I thought I was protecting myself. I would get like messed with a lot as a kid, and like I'd be
Were you like bullied and stuff?
yeah, by like, it started with like my cousin who's like my best friend. Like we would chill like all day, and then we would be leaving each other, and then he would like hit me, like, and I'd like, we'd be saying bye, I'd be like, oh bro, see you later, and then like he like hit me, or some shit, like,
And you're like, okay, but why? Like, we had such a good time.
it was so confusing for me. Oh yeah, I was like, what the heck, and I was real sensitive to it, and then there's like that, like man up, like don't be such a, like
I know what word you're gonna say.
so like that made me like, okay, maybe I need to change how I am, like at my core I'm like sensitive and like empathic, empathetic, but I wasn't, I saw that as like,
I feel like you started probably like your self-talk became very like you're naive, you're like, why did you let that happen?
oh yeah,
Why are you so trusting? Why are you so nice? Like, I feel like once you start to tell yourself all those things, that's when you're like, hey, I need to change in order to make sure that I receive better treatment back to me. But in reality, then you're treating yourself really bad. And like, I went on that journey too of I felt like I was naive and too trusting, too nice and all that stuff. So for a long time I like closed my heart off from the world because I felt like I had to protect myself.
Yeah.
And then one day it kind of like I realized, because I kind of got depressed from it.
Yeah.
I realized that like when you give from an unconditional place, you can never really be let down.
Yeah.
Like the world can't let you down. Like as long as you show up for yourself and you're able to protect yourself in the right ways, like having boundaries, but you can still be a kind person and give unconditional love to the world around you.
Yeah.
And you won't be let down because it's unconditional. So you aren't even expecting to receive that treatment back.
And you're just doing it out of what resonates with you, what feels right with you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, not to receive anything back.
Yeah. And I didn't even realize before that sometimes when you are a nice person, in a way you are like people pleasing. And it is transactional because you're expecting that it's going to come back around to you. And sometimes life, you're hit with highs and lows. Like it's not always going to be reciprocal back to you.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like you choosing to be a good person or being nice to someone does not guarantee that they owe you that same treatment back.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but it's also that's just how it is. And choosing to be kind regardless of that, that's where it all begins. That's integrity.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that unconditional love, for others, that's a very powerful place to come from.
And I think that goes all the way back to your first question. When I think of spirituality, it comes down to that.
Damn.
It comes down to the unconditional love, and that's the journey. I feel like the journey of life is who you were when you were like a baby. You're so pure and full of love and light.
Yeah.
It's like almost like the whole journey of life is getting back to who you were when you were just a baby. That's the whole walk of life.
Yeah, I can see that too, because like as a kid, you're like everything is so like astonishing, like beautiful, like, and you just want to see it and be a part of it. But then like as you get older, you like I'm just seeing it in myself, where I like develop these certain views and like perspectives that cause me to like go into the selfishness. And
it's all just a protective mechanism because maybe at one point you needed it to survive, but it's no longer serving you. And I think that's like a common theme with people is they develop these like hard shells to deal with life.
Yeah.
And then at one point it's like actually hindering them and it's not serving them anymore.
Yeah, like at one point they needed it, like, or maybe they thought they did, but it might have actually helped them, in that time survive or get through it. But like as you like develop an attachment to it because it helped you, so then you like keep you hold on to it, and then it, like you said, down the road it'll hinder you, it'll be the reason why you're
self-sabotaging. But it's so crazy because you don't realize until you're like wow, like you have no clue that you're holding on to so many limiting beliefs until you get into a situation you're like, wait, I just self-sabotaged or this is no longer serving me, it's actually holding me back. But sometimes we don't even realize because
don't even see it.
We have no clue that's why we're living in turmoil still. And I think that's just everyone, and it gives you like more perspective on being able to empathize with people. It's like most everyone is just, it's all protective mechanisms against themselves, and they don't even realize. And I think when you live in fear, that's when you are the most susceptible to selfishness or just these lower vibrational states, because you're in a survival state. When you let go of that fear and you just are very trusting and like things will work out, or you will know how to handle things when it happens, you can allow there's room for you to have love and light and to be optimistic and hopeful, but you have to let go of that fear in order to get there.
Yeah, fear has always been a huge part or a huge hindrance in my life. Like probably a couple years ago I wouldn't have done this,
Wow.
I would have
and then
like
today you're just like you know what?
Yeah.
Why not? You're like, I was just peacefully looking out at the ocean, but now I'm sitting with a stranger talking.
Yeah, I would have been like all in my head, you know, and like, oh, what if and you know, the fear, you know,
Yeah.
fear of how it will be, and not being in, it like steals you from the moment, which is like
Yeah.
where it all is, you know, it's all just right now. And
Or having the perspective of something else, like the other person's perspective on you,
oh,
instead
right.
of just being like, this is how I'm feeling, and just
How are they
transparently.
seeing me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is like everyone.
I
I think
know. Oh
everyone
yeah.
struggles with that, but it's
Oh
like
yeah.
to be able to let that go and be like, how am I feeling, and how do I want to just
Mm-hmm.
interact with the world around me without that voice,
Yeah.
wondering what's going on, like how other people are perceiving me speaking right now. I feel like
Yeah.
that's a very freeing state to be in, to be able to just let go of that.
Yeah.
And then you can develop like soul connections with people. So
Seriously.
yeah.
That is very, it's cool that you have these perspectives. I haven't met anybody out here with like that I understand like this, you know, and that I feel like understands me. So very, very cool. Yeah.
Well, it was so nice meeting you.
Yeah.
My name is Baylee, and then you said yours was
Evan. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.